So what's up, everybody? It's your boy Big Ghostwriter here, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know. Legal Wars live on YouTube, man. I know it's Thursday, man. I usually don't go live on Thursday, man. So sorry for the hoodie and everything like that, but I'm chilled out. What I've always said from the get-go, man, it's not really about... Hold on real quick, guys. I'm sorry about that. It's not really about the attire of the man. It's about what the man is saying. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we talk politics this morning. So, guys, we'll just take a few seconds, allow some people to come up in the stream. The people who do come in and they're enjoying this great content, I'm going to let them enjoy the content, and we'll get started in just a little bit. You guys don't know, good morning. As y'all come in, make sure y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? We want to get the likes up, man. Make sure y'all double tap that screen. Ivy says it's very peaceful. Yes, it is. It is very peaceful. I appreciate that. Please, please, please double tap that screen. If you guys didn't know, I'm out here on the road, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here in the state of Michigan, man, on a lake. You know what I'm saying? About central Michigan. You know what I'm saying? It's gorgeous out here, bro. It's beautiful out here. You know what I'm saying? What I wanted to say is today we got some really, really important content to go over. You know what I'm saying? On the We the People tour. I just want to let you guys know, if you guys come in here and if you guys watch the stream, you guys make sure y'all go to YouTube under the video tab, click on the video tab. We got a lot of great content. I've been out on tour. This is the 50th day. So We the People #3, it was filmed in Illinois, Indiana, and parts of it here in Michigan. It's uploaded on YouTube right now. So make sure y'all go to YouTube and check out all the great content. We the People Tour. That being said, man, we got a great news story to get into, man. We talking about President Trump and what's going on with President Trump. I just want to say this. This is a very important time for me, in my opinion, in U.S. history. I really believe that. The information I'm about to give y'all, which is all facts, you know what I'm saying? It's no opinion. And you got to remember, if you guys don't know, I never voted for President Trump. I never voted for him. So since you know that, and if you understand that, the information I'm about to give you is why I say it's very important in the next few days, weeks, and months, the decisions we make in America. Because I believe what President Trump has done has moved America towards an age of great prosperity. Let's go over the info. If you guys don't agree with me, y'all jump down in the comments at any time and let your voices be heard. What's up, Leo? What's up? What's up? Leo, will you please double tap the screen for me? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, guys. Yes, y'all jump down in the comments, Republican, Independent, Democrat. It don't matter. Thank you for the like. Double tap the screen. Let's get going. So, how is President Trump doing in his first 7 months in office? Bro, I'm on YouTube yesterday, okay, and I'm watching content, and I see two ladies. I'm not going to call the name of the little podcast, and she talking about President Trump and his health, and she's crossing her fingers like hoping that his health isn't good. Bro, that is so sad, man. That is so disrespectful. And I said the same thing about President Biden. People get all up in their feelings, and you letting your feelings dictate whether or not you hope this man is healthy, whether or not you hope this man survives and the likes, man. That is very disgusting to me. That is gross. That is a show of character. And that's how it is in our world. Whenever they can't beat you, you know what I'm saying, they praying for your downfall. But I just want to caution you, while you're praying for President Trump's downfall, if he wasn't there, let's go over. Okay, the trade deficit. The source for this information is The Motley Fool, and it's August the 6th of 2025. Okay, so in 2024, the United States had a goods trade deficit with 92 countries and a surplus with 111 countries, okay? Overall, it ran a 1.2 trillion trade in goods deficits that year. You say, what does that mean, Ghost? Let me tell you what that means, exactly what that means. What that means is that you are actually spending more money than you're making. That means that you're actually taking in more goods than you're exporting. And you say, hey, well, America's a rich country. If you got more money, you gonna usually, yeah. But I just want to caution you and tell you that's like the first time in I don't know how long. And I'm not trying to research it. We got a lot of information to go over. And President Trump recognized that. And he said, hold up, we got a $1.2 trillion trade in goods deficit. You guys don't think that matters? Let me ask you a question. I like breaking things down in common sense terms. Let's say you own a business. And the business that you own, you are buying more products than you are selling. How you going to stay in business like that? You know what I'm saying? Say Tesla, they making vehicles. And say on their vehicles, they buying more, they spending more on the parts than they actually are making on the actual vehicle. That's what a trade deficit was. The United States had a trade deficit of $1.2 trillion through the first half of 2025. That was like one of President Trump's biggest things that he addressed is that trade deficit. Well, through the first half of 2025, after a flurry of tariff announcements and deal making, the United States had a trade deficit with 104 countries and surplus with 128. The overall trade balance for the United States in the first half of 2025 is $606 billion. So he went from 1.2 trillion in 2024 to the first half of 2025, according to the Motley Fool, is $606 billion. He cut the trade deficit in half in his first 6 months in office. That's goals, man. That's goals made, goals accomplished, goals achieved. How can you do anything else but salute that? You know what I'm saying? Listen, we could talk about Jeffrey Epstein if you want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. We could talk about whatever you want to talk about. But I'm saying, how can you argue against those numbers, man? If I say before I come into the White House or before I do any job for anybody, if I say my number one goal is to cut the deficit in half, right? That's the goal. That's what he said. He come into office, he enact a whole bunch of tariffs, and 6 months in, we look at the numbers and the trade deficit is cut in half. And he's still working on it, man. That's a great job. What's up, Julius? He said that's higher prices on everything. How much higher prices are you paying on everything, Julius? Nationally. How are you paying higher on gas? Nationally. You paying higher for groceries? Nationally. You know what I'm saying? You saying higher prices, maybe higher prices need to be paid. That's my argument. You got a $38 trillion deficit, and then you got a trade deficit as well. I'm saying, like, when we gonna fix it? When we gonna turn it around? We just gonna say, hey, we gonna cut an entitlement program next presidency, and then you know it's not sustainable. Any politician who cuts an entitlement program, he has a very short shelf life. You're going to be out of there. I don't care if he national or the politicians know that. It's very hurtful or dangerous for them politically and for the American people to be talking about cutting any sort of entitlement programs. So where are you going to get the money from if you can't get it from tariffs? You know what I'm saying? So first, we looking at the first 6 months of the year, he cut the trade deficit from 2024 in half. Excellent job, President Trump. So let's continue. New GDP. So this information is from the Pike Institute for International Economics on August the 6th. President Donald Trump's tariffs are raising government revenues, but how much is the U.S. Treasury actually collecting from importers after the stars, stops, delays, exclusions, and other factors? And what products and countries are hit? This monthly tracker measures tariff revenues in practice over time. Taxes collected by government from U.S. businesses when they import goods. The tariff revenues are expressed as a percentage of a monthly total import value that the U.S. pays. Monthly tariff revenue divided by monthly import value by category or country, including shipping and insurance. These percentages are generally lower than press reports of headline tariff rates because the headline rates do not take exemptions or delays into account. For example, in August 2025, Trump exempted aircraft from the general 15% tariff on imports from the EU agreed at that time. I know a lot of you guys might not understand all of this, but just bear with me for just a second. Also, guys, if you guys come into the stream, make sure y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure y'all hit that notification bell. Let's keep going with it. This measure of tariff revenues is significant for three reasons. First, in light of Trump's varied tariffs on individual sectors and a new country-specific tariff rate, the measure summarizes the effective impact of tariffs on given class of goods or an individual country's goods. All of that is neither here nor there. The important part is how much money is the United States making in new revenue, off of tariffs. Okay, so President Trump claims that tariffs can make an outsized fiscal contribution. This claim can be put in perspective by comparing actual tariff revenues with the size of the projected budget deficit. The Congressional Budget Office projected the federal budget deficit in fiscal year 2025 will be $1.9 trillion. As of June 2025, the tariff revenues since January of 2025 total $93.9 billion, contributing 5% to the projected deficit. So basically, they're talking about whether or not the tariffs will help affect the deficit. But what I'm trying to ask you guys or tell you guys is that the United States is taking in hundreds of billions of dollars in brand new revenue, bruh. Hundreds of billions of dollars in brand new revenue off the tariff. How can you complain about that? Yeah, somebody, Julius, earlier in the stream said, yeah, we paying more money. Yeah, we might be paying more money. But I'm saying you got a $38 trillion debt. I'm saying if you don't want to pay more money, what we going to do? We going to wait and we're going to allow the dollar to crumble completely? We're going to allow the bottom to fall out completely? I'm saying America has an issue with debt that we have to fix. Point blank, period. Y'all agree or disagree? That's the bottom line. America has an issue with spending that we have to fix. I mean, I see why President Trump won't continue to go over this, because he went over it when he first came into office. Am I right or wrong? He said that, hey, just what I said, that, you know, that deficit, man, that trade deficit is getting completely out of hand. You laughing like what I'm saying. I did make a stream about it, but I'm not trying to claim the credit for it. You know, President Trump is the president. He knows a lot about the economy. He knows a lot about the problems, and he would take different steps in fixing the problems than I actually would. Because you guys know I voted for I supported VP Harris, so I'm thinking in my mind that, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be bringing America from a different direction than what he did. But he chose that direction. He won the election. And since he won the election and chose that direction, man, we rocking with him. But I'm saying when he first came in, man, he came in saying that we need to fix that trade deficit. That was like one of the biggest things so the tariffs and everything goes along with the trade deficit, hundreds of billions of dollars in brand new revenue off the tariffs. I'm aware of the courts and the decisions that they're making. And I just pray that the courts will allow President Trump, as long as he's not wrecking or completely destroying the United States economy, which he is not. And if some of y'all think he is, we can argue about it. Let's argue about the facts. Let's argue about the numbers, man. Because I'm going over numbers, bro. That trade deficit has been cut in half. Facts. Whether you're a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat, hundreds of billions of dollars of brand new revenue the United States is bringing in. Facts. That's two facts that we went over. So I'm saying you praying for President Trump's downfall or demise, you just need to be careful, because you just don't know who's going to or what's going to happen afterwards. And I think a lot of things he's doing needs to be done. Let's look at the GDP. OK, so this portion of the story comes from CBS News on August 29th. The U.S. economy expanded faster between April and June than previously estimated. I'm going to stand up right there. You say, Ghost, you tweaking, man. What's the point of getting excited over? Listen, the U.S. economy expanded faster between April and June than previously estimated as growth bounced back after slumping in the first quarter, new government data shows. You know why I stood up on that? It's because a lot of things to do with President Trump is always faster than previous estimated. What's up, Brian C? My brother, hadn't seen you in here in a minute. Everybody like Brian C sticker. Y'all make sure, if y'all haven't liked the video, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. What's up, Angelo? Y'all make sure y'all double tap that screen for me. Also, guys, if we could get those donations up too, my boy, we can get them up, and I would appreciate it. But let's get back to the content, because I think this is so important. This is an important moment, man. As I look on the political scene, Angelo and Brian, I see these people, they trying to attack President Trump from every angle. You can't cry about it. It's a fight. It's politics. I understand that. But what I'm saying is while you attacking him and you praying for his downfall, I'm saying, like, look at the numbers. I said this earlier. Look, if you win, does it matter if a Republican is in president when you become a millionaire? Oh, Brian C., tell him not to let me get $1 million until a Democrat becomes the president. Or does it matter if a Democrat's in office? It shouldn't matter, man. It's about America, man. And that's what I'm saying. Everything, Brian C., they said about President Trump, like they came in like, I don't know why, but they came in with these low job projections. We're going to get to them in just a second. Same thing with GDP. Everybody's saying tariffs is bad, tariffs won't work, yada, 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 yada. But I'm saying all I see is green money machine coming into the United States right now. Angelo, thank you for that $2 super sticker, that super chat. Y'all make sure y'all like Angelo's super chat, super sticker, man. All I see is green coming into the United States of America right now. Brand new revenue that no other president could have brought into the United States. President Trump is doing that. You look at the jobs report, what we're going to get to every single month, Angelo and Brian, we were looking at those job numbers. President Trump every month was exceeding their expectations. Every month. The first time he didn't do that was last month. Well, when I look at the GDP, you don't get weekly GDP numbers or monthly GDP. It's by quarters. So in that first quarter, he said it was President Biden's economy. I'm not going to get into that, but he just came into the White House and his policies have went into effect. But what I'm saying on this, we know this is his policies right here. The U.S. economy expanded faster between April and June than previously estimated. That's what I'm saying. Just like the jobs report. So you guys need to keep your eyes on the prize, man. We focusing on things that do not matter. Things that do matter, which we could talk about in just a second, because I'm sure some people are going to be down there talking about Epstein. I'm just waiting for it. We could talk about that in a second, but I'm telling you what the American voters care about. Not just what they care about. I'm telling you what matters to us as a nation, what matters to the American people. You see what I'm saying? The Commerce Department said Thursday that the country's GDP, the nation's output of goods and services, grew at a 3.3 annual pace in the second quarter, after shrinking 0.5% in the first 3 months. The agency had initially estimated second growth quarter at 3%. Once again, President Trump, good job. Outperforming growth. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're independent. How can you argue with those numbers? Let's look at the stock market. America winning, baby. That's what I'm saying. We can't lose focus. Listen, when you get somebody who have a very complicated set of circumstances to overcome as President Trump did, he came in and he did a great job. So when you do a great job on those circumstances, I'm saying, like, we get bored and we start talking about stuff that don't even matter. Things that might be good for juicy conversations, things that might be good for a vlog or a blog or something like that, but it's not good for America. It's not something that the American people care about. This is what they care about. More than 90% of the trading volume and 90% of the stocks on the New York Stock Exchange gained ground on Friday. History shows the S&P 500 is almost always higher in the year following the rate occurrence, racking up additional gains of 23% on average. The rally could still stumble thanks to tariff or ongoing inflation, but the future looks bright. When it comes to investing, this year's been a doozy. The stock market started the year with a bang, notched record heights in February before the S&P 500 made a stark reversal, plunging 19%. Investors and consumers alike were convinced about the impact of tariffs on the broader economy and whether inflation would reignite, stopping the rally in its tracks. Man, I said this when we first started the stream. One of the first things President Trump said he was going to do when he came in the White House is fix the trade deficit. When he said he fixing the trade deficit, he came out and he told us. How many of us remember hearing him saying it? When he said, I'm fixing the trade deficit, he said there's going to be some short and temporary pain. I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, I know that it's probably not extremely popular right now. I don't care. I agree with what he's saying. I believe Americans are lazy. I believe Americans spend too much money. I think they think they're entitled. I agree with that sentiment. So if we have a $38 trillion debt and we got to pull together to fix this debt, I'm saying like we might have to pay an extra $2 for something. You don't like hearing that. And I'm saying that'll cost him politically. It will. I don't think he cares about the political cost. I think he's actually trying to fix the problem. And those are two totally different things. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, let's keep going, though, with the content. So, however, since the market bottom in April, like I said, he said that was going to happen. Like, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to put tariffs, I'm going to realign the trade, I'm going to realign the economic order in the world. He said that's what he was going to do. I mean, listen, right, wrong, or indifferent. You could say whatever you want to. You could like it, you could lump it, you could choke on it, it could hurt your business, you could put it in the stream, in the chat. We could talk about that. But what I'm trying to say is right, wrong, or indifferent. If I come in and I say my number one thing is to fix the budget, the trade deficit. That's my number one thing. And so I'm going to say, look, it's been, 7 months, almost 8 months. How's he doing on it? Well, last year, the trade deficit was 1.2 trillion. The first half of this year is 600 billion. So how's he doing? First half of this year, he cut it in half. So within 12 months from right now, if he stay on the same track he is on, the overall trade deficit is going to go from a negative 1.2 trillion to a surplus. That's good for America. That's good for you. I'm saying that's goals accomplished, goals achieved. I'm saying, how can you argue with that? How can you dispute with that? And I'm going to get down in the comments in just a second, because I know what some of you guys are probably going to be saying. Let's see. Mark says tariffs built our infrastructure, also rebuilt Europe after World War II. Man, they don't care about that. And I appreciate that comment, Mark, but they don't care about that. All they care about is themselves and their own pockets and their own bottom line. That's all they care about, man. They just want to be comfortable. No sacrifice. And that's the problem. Flowers and Shrooms said, you don't understand deficits. Well, go ahead and explain it for us, sir. I'm not an economist or economist. I'm not trying to be. I'm saying I filed legal documents, bro. I don't do nothing to do with no economy. But all I know is the deficit was 1.2 trillion and now it's 600 billion. I understand that. I understand it's in half. I understand that's what he said he was trying to do before he was elected. And 7 months in, it has been cut in half. I do understand that. Goals accomplished. Goals reached. You know what I'm saying? Stock market. That's what we're talking about right now. However, since the market bottom in April, the rebound has been stunning. Earlier this month, the S&P hit an all-time high. Every president, all-time high, and is now within striking distance of a brand new record. What we talking about? On Friday, for the second time this year, the stock market flashed a rare signal. More than 90% of the stocks on the New York Stock Exchange move higher, and the total trading volume of stocks on the exchange was 91%. A 90-90 day, as it's called, has only happened 14 times since 1980. And has a nearly flawless track record of predicting what happens next for the S&P 500. And the news is decidedly good. And the news is decidedly good. I want you guys to rock with me for a second, man. Can y'all rock with me for just 1 second, bro? GDP over 3%. Okay? Trade deficit, he cut it in half. Okay? What we talking about? New revenue in the United States. The United States is collecting hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff revenue, and they've already got foreign investments from America. Bro, like, come on, you want to keep going? We just looked at the stock market. I'm saying there's no way that if I had to face against President Trump in any sort of way, in any capacity in politics, you know what I would do? When someone started talking about this, I'll talk about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm saying, what else can you talk about? I mean, because listen, if you're an opponent of his, or if you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you being realistic and you look at the numbers, what you gonna say? What can you say? I'm saying realistically, looking at the stock, more Republican and Democrat, what can you say? All you can say is what you see, the truth. But if you a Democrat, when you speaking the truth about President Trump, bro, those words, they don't like the taste of those words coming out their mouth. So you know what tastes better? Jeffrey. Look, I'm not trying to defend President Trump on any wrong that he has or has not done. But all I'm saying is you don't have no proof of no wrong that he's done or has not done. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, where is the proof of the wrong? Nobody is attacking not one, listen to me, nobody is attacking one victim of, I'm the one who said go get the victims. I'm one of the first people who said get the victims. No one is attacking any victims of Jeffrey Epstein. All I'm saying is the processes that's the investigation is working itself out. Let it work itself out. But I'm talking about with President Trump. I'm saying going after President Trump outside of an investigation or a victim coming forward and saying something to where he gets convicted of it in some sort of way or found guilty or found liable or found anything besides just some rumors. We need to get back to the business of America. But the majority of people aren't. And I understand that. None of his enemies are. And I understand that. But what I'm saying is while you praying and wishing for his downfall, let's go to jobs. Every metric. Guys, y'all make sure y'all double tap that screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Let's go to jobs. The unemployment rate is forecast from 4.3, to climb to 4.3 from 4.2 in July. So that's something to keep an eye on, President Trump. Fed Chair Jerome Powell last month signaled a possible rate cut in U.S. central bank's September the 16th through the 17th policy meeting, acknowledging the rising labor market risk, but also added that inflation remained a threat, okay? A Reuters survey of economists expects the government's closely watched employment report on Friday will likely show non-farm payrolls increased by 75,000 jobs in August after rising by 73,000 in July. Unemployment gains averaged 35,000 per month over the last 3 months compared to 123,000 the same period in 2024, the government reported in August. So basically what that means is that, the job growth is slowing. You know what I'm saying? The job growth isn't as fast. The unemployment rate will tick up. That has a lot to do with immigration and some other things we could talk about. But point blank period, President Trump has added a minimum of 35,000 jobs every single month he's been in the White House. And 6 of those months he's been there, when we did the job reports, he exceeded expectations, just like with the GDP. I'm saying, like it, lump it, or choke on it, right, wrong, or indifferent. We see Jerome Powell. Just watch Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, how he's standoffish. Just watch Forbes, how they're predicting a 65% chance of a recession. Right, wrong, or indifferent, we pushed through the summer. Ain't none of that happened. There ain't no recession. Right, wrong, or indifferent, we push through the summer. The prices aren't that, I mean, an incredible amount higher. Ask Angelo. Angelo, are the prices of goods higher or lower in New Jersey? Or if they're not higher or lower, excuse me, are they that much higher? No. So you know what Jerome Powell says? He's considering dropping that interest rate now. Forbes magazine, they backed off. All the economists said that President Trump has performed higher or better than what they expected. And even if they hadn't came out and said it out their mouths, all you got to do is just look at the numbers. Look at the predictions and look at the numbers, how it turned out. I'm saying, I'm trying to figure out, like, guys, we got to get on the same page. I mean, if you don't like him because of X, Y, and Z, and it's about politics, that's one thing. But that's why I always try to tell people that I never supported him. When he ran against Hillary Clinton, I was in support of Hillary Clinton. He won. Now, when he won, I did notice in his first term that his economy was really well. I noticed that without supporting him. Pre-COVID, his economy was doing pretty good, okay? When he, besides all that, January 6th happened, and I'm like, yeah, I know for a fact he don't need to be president. See there, that's what I was talking about. So when the election came back around, I was for President Biden, and President Biden won. Hooray, hoorah. So the third time come around, like I remember talking with somebody, we like, man, it ain't no way in the world they gonna let him run again. And he ran again. And I was supporting VP Harris 3 times. Never supported him. So you got to understand, you could ask Angelo and them. They were here like, Ghost, man, you crazy. You need to support. Like, you could ask Angelo and them, man. I ain't never support him, but although I am honest, I'm a realist. I see the numbers. I see what he was trying to do, and I see what he is doing. Point blank, period. I see his goals. And I look at the outcomes and the results of his actions, and I see that what he is doing overall is better for America. Who doesn't want the trade deficit to be cut in half, bruh? Get out your feelings. Get out your politics. Forget your feelings. Get out your politics. Who doesn't want the United States trade deficit to be cut in half? Whose trade deficit you want to be cut in half? China's? Well, go move to China. Swear your allegiance to Xi Jinping. Change your citizenship. That's what I'm saying. You say, Ghost, they do it too. And they wrong too. That's what I don't care. Us, and we don't care what your party is about. It's about America. And right now, see, that's what Ghost didn't shift. I just understand. Just like if a general, say I'm a 4-star general, okay? And I'm a 4-star general. And we got an election coming up. And so you don't think the generals vote? Yeah, the generals vote. So you think some might vote Democratic, some might vote Republican. So say I'm an active duty general and the election come up and I'm voting for VP Harris, okay? And she lose. The second she lose the election, all those military people who voted blue, what they supposed to do? The second she loses that election, all the military people that voted blue, what they supposed to do? Because I know what you said when you put your hand on that Bible and took that oath. You know why? Because I did too. I know what you said. So you know who your boss is. So what you supposed to do? You supposed to drop that foolishness and stand up for that flag. That's your job. So what I'm saying is, listen, Representative Jasmine Crockett, she is a Democrat. She's on the I think the House Oversight Committee. That's her job. That's politics. I understand the politicians being politicians. I'm talking about the American people here. Overall, do we want America to win, or do we like that lady on the podcast who said she crossed her fingers that President Trump, something happened to President Trump? That's disgusting. She says she crossing her fingers that something happened to a sitting president of America, bruh. She's an enigma to our country. In my opinion, she is. It's people like that. They're an enigma to our country, to the world. Like, there's nobody in the world that, okay, this is a political person that I don't like. Because I'm saying she ain't nobody. She a podcaster. You feel that? It's not like she Hillary Clinton or Michelle Obama or even Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or Jill Biden, where they actually felt some effects of him and some. She's just a regular person like me. He ain't never ran no election. He don't even know her name. Ain't never said nothing. And she on there saying, "I cross my fingers he died." Man, I don't even understand how YouTube let that stuff stay on YouTube, man. That's disgusting, bro. That's disgusting. And bro, I could be on here talking about a way more interesting topic that they want to hear me talk about. Like, I could be on here talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and in the end, we gonna get and talk about, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the story. I mean, that's what happened yesterday. Like, the victims came to the Capitol Hill, and I'm not trying to downplay or down talk or down nothing the victims. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she stood up. Yeah, that's why I follow her on IG. I seen something in her. Yeah, she stood up. Point blank, period. You know, they want to get justice for those victims, but this ain't about President Trump, in my opinion. The people already spoke. I'm saying he was accused in 2015 and 16, and he was accused in September of this year of stuff in reference to Jeffrey Epstein. He's never been found liable with anybody who is under the age. He's never been convicted of doing that with anybody. So I'm saying, in my opinion, President Trump is going to be incredibly hard because that story is just going to grow and grow. It's just a Russian hoax story 2.0. He called it the Epstein hoax. It's basically, that's what it is. It's politics, man. It's politics. And they are using the children and human beings who have been harmed. They're using that for political gain and political advantage. That's what that is. Because what I'm saying is the man been dead for 6 years. So I'm saying, where at do you decide that you want to jump into the Epstein thing? Okay, he died in what, 2019? So 2020. Oh, we don't need the Epstein thing. We got January 6th happen. 2021, President Biden. 2022, no. 2023, 2024. But all of a sudden in 2025, man, make it make sense for me. Bro, in September of this year, before the election, we talk about victims with Epstein, right? In September of this year, before the election, a young lady came forward making the same claims before, and President Trump still won. Why come forward in September before an election? Look, I'm the one said go get the victims. Ghost said that. I was one of the first ones who said that. While they trying to talk about a story and all this other stuff, I'm one of the first ones who said go get the victims. But here's my point. Stand with the victims and the stories. But I'm saying, how this got to do with anything to do with President Trump whatsoever. Make it make sense. Because if you got a victim, look, I'm a litigator, okay? Understood. If you come to me with a victim or somebody who's saying, hey, something happened to me in 1994, and you telling me this in 2015, I don't think President Trump ever gonna have to get down into this like this. He shouldn't have to. But look, I'm gonna just address this real quick. We're gonna get back to the content. In 2000, okay, in 2015, you come to me and tell me something that happened to you in 1994. Of course, we all gonna say, why you wait 30 years? Oh, you know why I waited 30 years? Because I was scared. But the person you suing is running for a presidential election. You know what the judge did? He dismissed the charges. That's facts. I can't go off of speculation. So when you come to me or any regular American voter, I promise you, it's going to be a Russian hoax story. If he had to run for re-election, he would win again. Because the voters, you know what they're going to care about? With those metrics I started with. We finna get to immigration and crime. But I started with the economy. If he checking those boxes, they don't care what you got to say about Epstein, bruh. The only way that affects President Trump is if he let that get in his mental. Other than that, it don't affect him. And if I was defending him, I would argue you down about the politics behind you exploiting. You think President Trump was the only person who presided in the White House during the time of Jeffrey Epstein's and the disgusting thing that he's doing? Arch, thank you for that super chat. He says, shout out for you representing the LGBT community. That's absolutely false, sir. I do not represent that community whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? I'm a born again Christian, bruh. Yeah, he could laugh, he could make his jokes, because I believe that you disrespecting that community is a violation of U.S. law. Point blank, period. I am a born again Christian, and I do not believe in anything to do with anything LGBTQ. But if you disrespect a community, that's a violation of U.S. law. That's how you learn how to keep that hatred or your opinion to yourself. Because me saying that I don't like a man just because he is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, me saying that about him is pretty much hatred in so many ways. Regardless of how I feel, I believe in my whole heart that God says that that's wrong. That's against nature. That's how I feel. But I'm saying me saying something to him or treating him any different is a violation of U.S. law. You got to keep that to yourself. Y'all make sure y'all double tap the screen for me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, bro. We gonna keep on going. Look, Tony, I feel what you're saying, bro. This not no rambling, bro. I had to address that. That Jeffrey Epstein part of the story is humongous. That needed to be addressed. It needs to be. Because anytime President Trump do a presser, anytime anything like that happen, the first thing they gonna do is bring up Epstein. The first thing. So why wouldn't I bring it up in the middle of talking about, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna bring up Jeffrey Epstein, right? In the middle of talking about President Trump using immigration and crime together. And Homeland Security on August the 4th reporting that today the Department of Homeland Security, what's up, Christy? With your little gorgeous self. Today hey, I got to, man. She's so gorgeous, man. Like so beautiful. Announced that for the third time this year, it has once again set record lows for nationwide encounters and lowest single day apprehensions. What? What's going on, Ghost? Preliminary data from July 25 confirms that illegal crossings have collapsed to an all-time lows. Hey, listen, every time we talk about something with President Trump and they saying all-time, notice that, all-time. Illegal crossings, all-time lows. Stock market, all-time highs, records, highs, records. That's greatness, baby. Who set records? Great people do. All-time lows. And y'all know immigration, this is like one of his main things that he won the election on. Or he might not have won on it, but he ran on it hard. You know that. Just like I'm gonna say, hey, look, my goal. Look, I'm looking at the goals of I'm listening to this candidate, and I'm trying to see what is this candidate's goals. What is the candidate's goals? The candidate's goals is. He said we have a trade deficit. It's destroying our country. We have a 1.2 trillion, and he is cut in half. He said it. He not walking around talking about how he cut it in half, but he said what he's trying to do, and he's enacting the tariffs. And so I go pull the data, and we look at the data, and the budget is cut in half. Same thing with immigration. He said we need to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. Well, I guess he's still building the wall. But if you still building the wall and Mexico not paying for it, regardless of all that, preliminary data from July 25 confirms that illegal crossings, have collapsed to all-time lows. What's an all-time low? 0. Tony, I'm not rambling. But what about Jeffrey? But what about Jeffrey Epstein, though? But what about Jeffrey? What about Jeffrey? You know what I say, though, Tony? I say that's a good one. And you know why I say that's a good one about rambling? Because every time a reporter deflects from the business that President Trump has accomplished for America, we gonna say they rambling. Because that's what it is. It's like they rambling, man. You know what I'm saying? Today, the Department of let's keep going. The lowest nationwide encounters ever, 24,630. That's down 2.4% from June and nearly 90% lower than the monthly average under the last administration. 90% improvement. That's unbelievable. Lowest border patrol apprehensions nationwide, 6,177, and that's shattering June's all-time low, breaking his own records. Breaking his own records. Lowest Southwest border apprehensions, 4,598, nearly 500 than the daily average under the last administration, which averaged 5,110 apprehensions per day from February 21 through December of 2024. Lowest daily, y'all want to keep going? Listen, I know President Trump and Secretary Noem. You know what I'm saying? Hold up, before I get on to that, I'm going to tell you what the secretary said. She said, history made again. The numbers don't lie. This is the most secure border. The most secure the border has ever been. President Trump didn't just manage the crisis, he obliterated it. No more excuses. No more releases. We put the cartels on defense and taking our border back, and they have done that. I mean, President Trump and Big Pete, my boy Big Pete Hegseth, you got to salute the super general. My boy Big Pete Hegseth and President Trump, man, I'm talking about they knocking the cartels back, man. Y'all ain't hear about that in Venezuela? You know what I'm saying? I'll do a story about that. Keep on talking about how President Trump is fighting crime. You know what I'm saying? You guys, as y'all come in the stream, y'all make sure y'all like the video. I'm sorry about that, man. That sun is getting uncontrollable, man. Y'all make sure y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, guys. Also, as some people like Brian C. and like my boy Angelo, if you guys want to donate to the channel, man, that super chat, super sticker, super thanks, it started at 99 cents. Y'all hit that button with the $sign in it. Your donations are much appreciated. Let me see down here if I could see. It's 1,000 less. Laugh out loud. but down 2%. Let's see. Got to get back to work. Keep spreading the truth, brother Patriot. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. So, guys, let's keep on going. He called me brother Patriot. Man, I love my country. We all should love our country, right? You got to know what the game is about. The game is about America. The game isn't about the Republican Party. The game isn't about the Democratic Party. The game is about America. You got to recognize that. It's just Ghost understands that. So when I see the two sides bickering and fighting, sir, I just be like, hey, but America's winning right now. So whose side you really on? I just don't understand it, man. Okay, so on President Trump's foreign policy, this is USA Today, August the 20th. Since President Trump took office, the United States has been involved in 5 ceasefires or peace agreements. I got a question for you, man. Y'all put y'all thinking caps on. It's finna get good. So look, here's the question. I got a question for y'all, right? So I hope you take this the right way because I didn't support President Trump. You feel that? I didn't support him either. So I hope you take this the right way. But here's my question for you. The question I have for the stream. If you didn't support President Trump and you still don't support him right now, you oppose him, right? When you want to talk about him not doing a good job, what you could talk about? Oh, he had ended the war, but he got 6 or 7 peace treaties besides the ones he's still working on. Oh, he doing tariffs, but the prices are much higher and America is making hundreds of billions of dollars. And he cut the trade deficit. Jeffrey Epstein. What we could talk about. If you oppose President Trump and you're against President Trump, what can you talk about that he's doing a bad job in? He's starting a war? Is he starting a war overseas? What's he doing bad in? The stock market's on the floor. The U.S. economy is failing. What can you talk about? What good can you talk about if you oppose President Trump? I got you. Ramblin' Tony, Jeffrey Epstein. I'm just not like y'all. You know what I'm saying? Some people never was taught how to lose. And I'm saying you lose an election, and we know you lost the election, and you can't take it. So what the woman does is, on the little podcast, she's saying she crossed her fingers hoping someone dies. Listen, I don't think Michelle Obama would say that. She too dignified. But if she said that after all the stuff that went down between them, that's something else. That's something completely different. I don't think that Kamala would say that. She too sweet. But if she said that after they've been through all that they've been through, that's something different. I don't think Hillary would say that. But after he got on stage and said some of the things that he said, but I'm saying you though, why you wishing that he died? Who are you? Who are you? You got your fingers crossed hoping that the president of the United States dies. Y'all get that? That's what we coming to. That's what politics in America is coming to. We gonna pray and wish that our president dies. Let's talk foreign policy. Since Trump took office, the United States have been involved in 5 ceasefires or peace agreements. Though not all parties involved credit the United States, we don't care what they credit. Armenia and Azerbaijan. Hey, bro, I know I jacked that up. I could never say that, bro. I could never pronounce it. But it's Azerbaijan, I guess. I don't know. But President Trump and them know. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, I know what they are. Of course. Iran and Israel, that's one deal President Trump got done, but he got to get another deal done with them. You know what I'm saying? India and Pakistan, I think that's the biggest one. If there was any advice, and this is getting off the subject a little bit, if there was any advice I could give President Trump, it's just about how his dealings are handled with India. You know what I'm saying? I think that is humongous. I think that is a big deal because I think India could be a very big ally and it could be a good balance to China in more ways than one. Okay? So also President Trump and them also cited Ethiopia and Egypt, Cambodia and Thailand. Reuters reported that. You know what I'm saying? Ethiopia and Egypt, Axios reported that. So you saying, how is President Trump doing with foreign policy? He putting out wars. Just like he said, peace president. We saw him bomb Iran. I know when I saw him bomb Iran, I wasn't too sure about that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was like, I don't know, President Trump, that look like we might get involved in another war that, you know what I'm saying, another forever war in the Middle East. You see what I'm saying? So I wasn't too sure about that, but look at the results of it. And besides the results of that big shit, you feel what I'm saying? Thank you for that $5 sticker. Besides the results of that, my boy, I'm saying 6, 7 peace deals. Oh, he said India said that the United States had nothing to do with that. They probably did. And that's quite unfortunate. Because, you know, it looks like, you know, the United States is leaning more towards Pakistan than India in that conflict. But I think that's a mistake. I don't care if I didn't agree with India whatsoever. It's just geopolitically, India is a necessity. Look, you could get the same labor from Indian workers you could get from Chinese workers. India is the largest nation on earth. You can't have them united with China. You have to break that up. Russia and China is bad enough, but India, nah, we need to make India like, they know what they bring to the table, and President Trump probably thought that they were asking for a little bit too much. But India is one nation that I would make a concession over. You know what I'm saying? Okay, guys, I appreciate that donation, sir. So we went over all the things that people would judge a president by, the metrics. I'm going to just say them real quick. Been streaming a little bit over an hour. I'm going to open the floor all the way up to you guys if y'all are in the comments acting right. We went over the trade deficit and how President Trump cut it in half in 6 months. We went over the new revenue, the trillions of dollars that President Trump has secured in new investments. Due to the tariffs, there are a lot of businesses in America that are staying in America. There are a lot of businesses that are saying, hey, I don't want to pay that tariff. My business has to do business with the United States. So, hey, I'm going to come build a shop in. Yeah. President Trump said due to some of his policies in which he given a tax rebate for buying a brand new car. If you go buy a brand new car, y'all could write that off on your taxes. Did y'all know that? He said because some of those policies like that, he said the car industry is booming. I'm going to have to do a stream on just the car industry. Records everywhere, man. Records everywhere. GDP over 3% growth, surpassing expectations. That's the name of President Trump's second term, surpassing expectations, stocks, record numbers. Pulled a 90-90. The first time that's happened. Look, they said that's only happened. Listen to me. I want you to understand 14 times in one day since 1980. 1980 is when I was born, so I don't need no addition to know that's 45 years. 45 years? You got over 300 days per year. So you looking at in over 15,000, what? 15, how many days is that? That's a lot of days, boy. All them days has only happened 14 times. President Trump. Stock market, record numbers, jobs, 35,000 plus jobs every single month. Plus, for 6 months straight, what is it, Brian C? Surpass expectations. Immigration and crime. I did streams on crime. We could talk about crime. I'm just giving the time to get a full gauge of the crime. President Trump has 300 troops in Los Angeles. Over the past, how many days, President Trump? Since right before the summer. I want to look at the crime rate in Los Angeles over this summer compared to the previous summers. It's about the numbers, baby. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Numbers not lying. But the men and women, when they came to attack President Trump, they're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? President Trump is trying, and he's treating immigration and crime as if they were the same. You know why? Because DHS secretary said they dropped down to 0 border crossings. Bruh, what I want to do if I get elected president, I want to seal the border. How you going to do? I'm going to build a wall, make Mexico. I ain't got to build a wall, make Mexico pray for. How many people coming across? What you need a wall for? To stop the people coming across. So how many people coming across? Nobody. I'm saying if you're an enemy of him, if you don't support him, if you're a never Trumper, if you don't like him, and your allegiance is more to a party than your country, their allegiance, sir, their allegiance, President Trump, their allegiance, President Obama, is more to that party than to America. The founding forefathers, when they created a two-party system, Republicans and Democrats, they wanted this debate. They thought a healthy debate is good for America. And I can say that this has been one of the greatest experiments in mankind and in history. But what I'm trying to say is, though, this is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is through all of this, the American people, in my opinion, probably the worst effect of the situation is the American people choosing a party over their country. And that's why you could get on a podcast and you got a woman who President Trump has never said nothing about her family, never did nothing to her, and you got a woman on the podcast saying, hey, I cross my fingers that he dies. That's disgusting, man. Very disgusting. What you guys think, man? What y'all think? We went over foreign policy and all the wars he has stopped. You see what I'm saying? So she over there wishing that he dies. Or she over there praying for his downfall. That's what she doing. I got one more metric for you, though. One more metric, okay? Affordability and aid to the poor. This is, I think, President Trump's weak point. So instead of praying for his downfall or praying that he dies, how about you just man up and you do it like that Democrat that we're going to talk about this upcoming Saturday. We're talking about a Democratic senator who ran for a state house position in a likely red or even perhaps safe red Trump district. He won it by 10 or 11 points, and she swung it 10 or 11 points in her direction over a 20-point swing. We talking about that on Friday. On Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern time, right here, y'all. You say, what's the avenue or the weakness? Instead of her wishing that he dies, she could do like that Democratic senator did, and she can attack affordability and aid to the poor. Because regardless of what we say, we all know, and we've seen people in the stream, they talking about inflation. They thought President Trump was going to get elected to lower the prices. All that good he's done. And that senator focuses on affordability, and that's the weakness that you have for him. That's the only weakness you could possibly have for him that I could see myself personally. Okay, so the way I judge affordability and aid to the poor, I look directly at approval ratings and numbers. I do it fairly, but that's what I look at. You say, Ghost, make that make sense. Just look at whether the price is dropped or not. I think whether the price is dropped or not, the consumer sentiment, you can get that straight from polling data. You won't be able to do this in every single election, but I think, or every single cycle, but I think you can right now, because when they voted for him close to a year ago, it was to see those prices get dropped. I think primarily that's why he won. Affordability, inflation. You see what I'm saying? So how the Americans feel about the prices, the grocery prices, I think that's going to affect how on what they feel about his job. The stock market could be good. It could be, everything could be, all those metrics could be excellent. But I'm saying if they're going in the store, if life is still unaffordable, that's your angle. Just say, hey, okay, stock market, yeah, he did good on that. Okay, yeah, you don't have to say he did, but is life affordable? That should be the angle. But like crossing your fingers and hoping, nah, bro. Let's look at some polling numbers, man, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to close it out. According to the most recent Gallup poll, I started with Gallup, okay? President Trump's approval rating was at 40%, while 56% disapproved of his performance. Look, I think he got, 48% or so of the vote? So I'm saying, if he's right now, his approval rating's at 40%, I'm saying, like, if you trust in this Gallup poll, which they're pretty accurate, you know what I'm saying? And I started with the Gallup poll for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I would say that, a few less than about 7% or so of the people have, you know what I'm saying, they're not all the way satisfied with his policies. And I would say that 7%. Look, if you look at this Gallup poll and you say 8 months have passed by, right? And in those 8 months, in that Gallup poll, he went from 50-some% in that Gallup poll to 40%. What has transpired in those 8 months, man? All I could see is affordability. I've seen some polls where some voters had a problem with him using the National Guard. A lot of those voters are Democratic voters. So I'm saying any poll that's taken, they're going to vote against, they're going to disapprove of the job he's doing, regardless if he's using the National Guard or not. I think the majority of those people, man, I don't think it's the economy. I don't think it's terrorists. I think it relates to the economy as far as affordability. And Reuters IPSOS poll, 40%. Quinnipiac poll, 37% approval rating. That's real low, man. Associated Press said 45% approved. So the AP got more people approving than even the Gallup. The Economist showed 41% approved. Rasmussen, a poll from August the 29th showed 48% approval rating. Now, you know Rasmussen, if you look at all these polls, Gallup, Reuters, Quinnipiac, the AP, The Economist, Rasmussen, Morning Consult, American Research Group, if you look at all those polls, the polls that were most correct according to predicting the election, I would have to say would be Gallup and would be Rasmussen. Is that right or wrong? Well, Rasmussen got him at 48% right now. So I'm saying if Rasmussen got him at 48%, that means that primarily, you know what I'm saying? That means for the most part, you know what I'm saying? It's about what they elected him with, 48%. So it hadn't really moved at all, according to Rasmussen. The Morning Consult on August 25th said 47% approved. I mean, we just did these numbers. And these numbers a couple days ago, if you look at the beginning of August, they were going the other way, but they didn't came back up. 47% according to Morning Consult, that means that, yeah, he was doing some good stuff that the people approve of. Because I'm saying if you got 47% or 48% of the electorate, okay, and you've been in office for 8 months, and you still have the same amount of people supporting you, you've done an excellent job. Better than a good job, because you're going to lose support. You got to think he had Democrats and independents voting for him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying if I looked at those numbers and he still got a 47% approval rating after he's been in office for a second term now, 8 months, shoot, that's better. Look, here's my point. Let's look at the prior presidents at this point in their presidency, okay? 7-8 months in. Joe Biden was at 40%. Donald Trump in his first term was at 34%. Right now, we talking about August 29th, September the 1st. He's at 48% right now, according to Rasmussen. He was at 34% of average of the polls at this in his first term. So that's like a 14-point approval. President Obama was at 59% approval rating at this point, though. George W. Bush was at 34%. Second term. Bill Clinton was at 66%. George H.W. Bush was at 56%. Ronald Reagan was at 63%. So it looked like George H.W. Bush, President Trump, is chasing you, chasing him. He got you by about 8 points. Bill Clinton, man, you chasing old Bill. Bill Clinton, I told y'all, he was the most popular out of all of them. And second was Ronald Reagan. And third was President Obama. But they all looking at 60% approval ratings. President Trump's at 48%. You got to think, though, in order for President Trump to get up there, man, he got to be doing some super duper good for America. Super duper good, man. But I think that's the only way to get there. The only way to attack him, in my opinion, is affordability. I think without affordability, you don't have an angle. Not at this point. I think you get mad and hoping for his death and lying to the American people. I don't think that's going to help you get elected or win an election. That's just what I think. You know what I'm saying? It might help you get some good ratings on a news story, but I don't think it's going to help you win an election. And pretty much, in my opinion, and y'all tell me if where I'm wrong at, in my opinion, I'm not saying that we don't look for justice for the victims. Okay? It's just that, President Trump's association, her past association with Jeffrey Epstein, they're going to use that to act like, there's something there that's not there. And for that reason, I have to call it a hoax. I have to agree with him. Just like the Russian story. It's the same thing with the Russian story. Me not supporting him, me seeing him beat Hillary Clinton, When they started coming up with this Russian story, I just knew, yep, that's what I thought. Yep, he a convict, he a crook. At the end of the whole investigation, you wasted all the taxpayers' dollars, to say that you didn't come up with nothing. The ones who did wrong, you could have probably knew they was wrong from the get-go. Paul Manafort, he got convicted. You didn't have to do all that to convict him. You just gonna throw dirt on his name, but that's politics. It's the same thing right now. Now, I'll jump down in the comments and I'll talk with y'all for a second, but I'm gonna just say this, bruh. This is all I gotta say, okay? I'm gonna say that all of this stuff that we're talking about, it's already been on the table. He was accused in 2015 and 2016. Listen, okay? Because this is what they want to talk about. I told you what matters. We did a whole stream, over an hour on what the American people care about. I did over an hour and told you why President Trump needs to remain where he's at throughout his entire term. That's what we need. I did over an hour and told you why. I explained it to you. But that's not what the media is talking about. What they want to talk about, they're going to talk about this Epstein story. The reason why I say it's a hoax, and I'm going to tell you why I'm saying it's a hoax, because in 2015 and 2016, okay, after 30 years, I'm telling you, anything I'm doing in any kind of legal situation, legal environment, I'm telling you, I'm going to wonder why somebody waits 30 years to report it. 30 years. Oh, I was scared of them, or I was young or a minor. Okay, you were 13, then you turned 18, then you turned 25, then by the time you 30, I mean, it's been 10, 12 years. I'm not going to wait 30 minutes to report you. I'm going to get on your head immediately. But, everybody ain't what I am, so they could make 30 years to report it. But okay, that sounds bad within itself, but I'm saying you're going to do it in 2015, 2016, right before a presidential election. You know what that sound like to me? That sound like somebody was in some archives and they were going through a bunch of information on some dirt, and they found some dirt and they just tried to throw it in the forefront. This happened behind the scene in politics all the time, man. That's what happens. And then it came back up in September and he won the election, but we talking about it right now because that's just how they get down with him. That's how they try to control him. It's the Russian story, man. The Russian story. K-Bar says we need Greenland for our national security. Russia and China have both planted flags at the North Pole, man. Look, people don't understand certain things. They don't understand the workings of certain situations. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. It's like Russia and China and Putin and Xi Jinping. It's like they fighting a Cold War without fighting a war. They ain't lifted one gun. But their goal is to dethrone America as the world superpower. So it's like one or two things. If you don't have somebody in there tough to stand up against them, if you don't have, I'm not talking about standing up against them like you finna pull out a gun and start fighting with them. I'm talking about them making moves and doing A, B, and C. If you don't have somebody to combat that, then what'll end up happening is what you gonna let them end up. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? So guys, I'm gonna get out the way. I'm gonna jump out the way for a minute. You know what I'm saying? If you guys got anything to say, y'all could put it down in the comments. We could get it cracking. If not, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna take a second. We're gonna get on out of here. I'm gonna get out the way, man. I'm gonna let y'all enjoy the view. I hope you guys enjoy the content. You know what I'm saying? I might not be as passionate You know what I'm saying? For other reasons, but in part two, because this is content we went over, but we need to continue to go over it. We need to talk about the stuff that's right for America, man. We need to talk about fixing the country. That's what this is about. If you say, "Oh, you taught me a patriot, you're not a patriot, you don't love your America." I pledge allegiance to the Democratic Party of the United States of America, and to the Democratic Party for which it stands, one Democratic Party. That's not what it's about. And it's the same thing with the Republicans. I done told more Republicans I could care less about what party they in than I've ever told a Democrat. It doesn't matter. It's about America, man. That being said, man, I'm going to get out the way. If y'all got some comments, y'all want to talk about something, y'all drop it down in the stream. I'm going to come back and give the outro. Till then, man, I appreciate you guys donating to the channel, man. You know what I'm saying? I thank you guys for the love. Let me step out the way, man, and let y'all get. Man, oh man, oh man, baby, this day 50 on the road, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell the story, a lot of times, man, I had to, bro, you in charge of your own future. And I'm going to tell you, the majority of people, what they do is they end up settling for whatever that was provided to them or the easiest path. There's paths and there's blockways that stop us from going to a place that we want to go, like our dreams or our goals, bro. You got to work for it, and it's not easy, and it's hard. It can be hard. It can be difficult, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think we all get to choose, and we all get to make a decision of what path we want to take in life, man. We all get to do that. You know what I'm saying? At least as Americans. Like, my path that I decided to take in life is the path that I'm living right now, man. That's what I decided to take. At 42 years old, man, I figured out. I always say I decided, but I didn't decide it. At 42, I figured out that I couldn't work for no employer. You know what I'm saying? The longest that I was with an employer in my entire life was when I was in the United States Army for 2 years. I could not work for no employer that was established. I think I might, outside of that, I might have worked for an employer for a year, maybe 3 times in my life, over 20-some, 30-some, whatever employers. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't work for one. So I had to make a decision in my life what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So guys, y'all see. You know what I'm saying? Man, I started 50 days ago, man. I started in the state of Tennessee, man. Like, I went from mountain range to mountain range to from the Appalachians to the Great Smokies. You know what I'm saying? I moved through Tennessee. I went to Nashville, all over the state of Tennessee, probably about 12 to 15 cities I stayed in within them 20-some days. You know what I'm saying? I moved from Tennessee, man. Then I went to Illinois. You know what I'm saying? I was in Illinois for 4 days. I stopped in Chicago to end the vlog pretty much. Not really, but that's the main part of the vlog. The vlog starts like I started in Chicago, but I really did. You guys, right now, y'all could go to YouTube. As soon as this goes off, y'all go watch it, man. Real talk, support the content. Like, a lot of people want to hear what I have to say when I come live, like my arguments, my presentations of politics, man. You know what I'm saying? Using common sense analysis and data. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is like when I'm making those videos and the such like that, I'm saying the same kind of thing is going on, man. You know, it's me giving you guys great content, man, with common sense political analysis and data. Political analysis and data that I apply across all sectors of my life, including the law. You know what I'm saying? But bruh, so y'all go check out We the People 3. It's the We the People tour, man. 50 days. You know? We the People #4. I hate to announce this because I really hadn't been promoting We the People 3, but I like the We the People series to be as organic as possible. But We the People 4, man, it's coming out on Tuesday. I've been up here in Michigan the longest out of all the states. I never imagined it. I've been up here for over a month in the beautiful state of Michigan, man. You know what I'm saying? Spend some time out on the Great Lakes, man. It's beautiful out here. I'm out here on a lake right now, man. It's a lifestyle I want to live, man. You know what I'm saying? Lakes and lifestyles, man, out here in Michigan, man. Like, I can't tell you guys, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, within the next 7 days, if I still be in Michigan, man, but I can say the time that I am here and have been here, I really enjoy my time. That being said, man, somebody said something about this podcast being an LGBTQ safe space. You know what I'm saying? And look, I'm gonna just tell you like this, bro. I'm not gonna hate on nobody, but I am a Christian, man. You know what I'm saying? I believe that Jesus suffered, he bled, and he died on the cross as payment for my sins. I believe that the blood of Jesus Christ, his blood washes away my sins. And I accepted his death and his sacrifice as payment of my sins. This don't have nothing to do with no church. This don't have nothing to do with no preacher, nothing to do with no organization. This has to do with me and my personal relationship with my creator and my God. I listen to people when they talk, they could say whatever they want to. I'm 1,000 toes in that. 1,000 toes. I ain't fighting no battles, no legal battles without God. That's the reason why I'm fighting them. If it weren't for God, I wouldn't care about fighting no legal battles or no justice, bro. I'd be doing my own thing. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, 10 toes, man. I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, man. I believe he's one with God. I believe he became a man to understand what we go through in our pain and to become an advocate between us and the Father, which is God. Jesus Christ the righteous, I pray to him. I believe that his blood washes away your sins. I believe your faith and God's grace is how you become saved. That's how you achieve salvation. Yeah, that's what I believe, boy. Ain't nothing changed. That'll never change. You know what I'm saying? I'ma die on that. I'ma die with that. That's who I am. I'm not a mighty warrior. I'm God's mighty warrior. Understand that. I'm not just fighting no battles for justice. I'm fighting God's battles for justice. That's what I believe in my heart. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I sometimes I've had issues and dealings with depression. Anytime I get in a situation that's bigger than me, I give it to God. What you do, Ghost? I'm gonna put it at the feet of Jesus and I'm gonna turn around and walk off. You say, Ghost, how can you put a problem at the feet of a being that you never seen praying? I get on my knees and I pray. And whatever that problem is, I'm going to give that problem to God. And when I finish praying and I get off my knees, that hope, that joy, that rush inside of me, I'm going to believe in my heart, whatever that problem is. It might not get worked out today, but I gave it to God and I got a relationship with him. And my faith is that's going to get resolved. Yeah, that's how I live, boy. That's real talk. That's facts. I've been living like that ever since I accepted him as my savior in August of 2018. I've lived like that ever since. Ain't nothing changed. Facts. Whenever something bigger than me, I give it to God. You will face something in your lifetime that is bigger than you, that you cannot beat by yourself. A lot of us don't see this. There's a lot of great men. They build great buildings. They build great houses. They build things that they overcome any obstacle. But I'm saying I go against organizations that's big as heaven and earth. Literally. Powerful men. That's who I go against. So I know about facing something bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? Every day I wake up, man. Through all my struggles, this is the day the Lord has made, good, bad, or indifferent. You stay humble. You keep your head down. I'm a fighter. So me fighting, you gonna see me blazing sometimes. That's what I do. I fight. That's what I do. You gonna see me blazing. But I'm gonna stay humble. I'm gonna keep my feet on the ground, bro, and I'm gonna continue to worship my God. Through all of the enemy's attacks, I'm gonna worship my God and he gonna be victorious. I thank y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate every single donation, man. Look, your life is it's yours to make, man. You could either settle for what they allow you to have, or you could push through that and you could keep fighting for every dream you had. The only question is, are you strong enough? Guys, we live on Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. You know what I'm saying? Right here, same place, same channel. Also, I want to strongly encourage y'all. Y'all could stop listening to me talk right now. I give y'all permission. Go to the videos tab on the page and click on We the People 3. Go ahead and check that out. Also, next Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern time, We the People 4, right here in Michigan. I'm releasing it. You know what I'm saying? It will premiere. Until that time, man, Saturday, and then Tuesday is the premiere, man. I thank y'all. I love y'all. We're gonna be talking about the future of MAGA and the Republican Party past 2028. That's what we talking about on Saturday, man. Y'all come check us out. Man, like I said, I love y'all. I thank y'all for the donations. We need that. We got to get them up. You know what I'm saying? Every single live stream, we got to get it up, man. I'm ready to be in and turn the channel, man. And like if y'all want that passion in me to deliver that content, man, like, you know what I'm saying? The more donations we get, the better the content. I promise you, I'm not really even putting forth the effort. I hate to say that, and me saying that isn't going to help my channel members from day one donate anymore, but I'm just being real with you. This is a very low effort. I'm not trying, really. I just get on the computer, I download some stuff and talk. But I'm saying if I was getting paid for it, I promise you, I'll bring you content. You ain't gonna see the content nowhere else, because they just not me. You know what I'm saying? They don't give the analysis that I give from a place of truth. A place of truth. You know what I'm saying? That's my time, man. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? I just try to encourage people, man, to just get out there, man. Y'all go live y'all life, man. You know what I'm saying? And y'all be blessed, man. I'll see y'all on Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern time.